Inside and Out, daily specials, homemade soups and chowders, fresh fish broiled, baked, and fried, swordfish, tuna, shrimp, lobster, crabs, steamers, and so much more. Plus side orders, salads, and a raw bar. It's like dining at the shore without the drive. What is the Krabby Lobster like?
It's like no other restaurant around.
It's wild, it's woolly, it's 7-4, Devils over the Capitals at the end of 2. Pat Conacher with me. He just walked in and says, what do you think? I said, Pat, I don't think, I just watch. What do you think?
Well, we're not playing as tight as we wanted to play. You know, they have 4 goals on us, and one thing we've been really priding ourselves on all year is keeping our goals down, and because we've been a little sloppy in our own end, they've capitalized, and that's what we have to cut down on right now is being sloppy in our own end, just make a good play and get it out.
Don't you find sometimes that even though you would like to play a certain style of game that is a tighter game, that it just gets out, you know, it gets away from you and you don't have control over it like it might be happening tonight?
I think so, and Washington's doing a good job. I think they know that once we get rolling, get into our flow, we play a really good game. We play on a lot of motion, and from that we gain and we do a lot of hard forechecking and everything. And as you notice, you know, after every whistle, they're pushing and shoving, and it's just slowing everything down. Plus, we're taking penalties, and it's, you know, making it hard for Shoney's juggling the lines. And so what they're doing, and they're slowing it down and taking our flow and our momentum away. And I think that's why it's a different game tonight.
Now, what significance do you think the change of goaltenders from Malarchuk to Peters has had in the game so far?
Not really too much. You know, we expect to see Malarchuk sometime during the series, and you know, we got to him early, and Brian Murray pulled him. You know, I don't really care, or any of the guys in the room really think it doesn't matter who we face. We just have to play our game, and who's ever in there, we're going to get goals on.
Let me ask you this. Tell me if you expected something like we're going to take a look at.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Clint Malarchuk and I are both from Calgary, and he's a good friend of mine in the summertime. And, you know, we're enemies out in the ice, and, you know, I want to do well and I want to score goals against the guy. But to see a pitcher like that makes me sad because there's no greater competitor than Clint. And, you know, I'm sorry to say, to see him like that, but it's good for our team. And I know the kind of guy Clint is. He'll pick himself up and come back. We just got to him early, and, you know, it's Murray's decision. Peters was playing pretty well in Washington, and that's just the way the game goes.
Now, Pat, you have a Stanley Cup ring. You played with the Edmonton Oilers when they won the Cup. Obviously, Wayne Gretzky, a teammate of yours. What is the difference in the feel, the tone of this New Jersey team compared to the Stanley Cup champion Oilers you played with?
Well, I think with Edmonton, you know, so much was expected. You know, we were expected to make the playoffs. We were expected to end up in first place. We were expected to win the Stanley Cup. You know, that's the difference. You know, there was a lot of pressure to get there, but with the Jersey team, no one expected us to get there. And the feeling, every game we won, it just kept building and building. We got stronger, and the feeling inside the team just got better. And I think that's the big difference between here and Edmonton. It's just all the guys are maybe feeling this for the first time. The guys in Edmonton, they experienced that for a few years before the people here did. And it's just that good feeling inside the team that was growing from the end of the month on.
Pat Conacher, one of the unsung heroes of the New Jersey Devils. Lee Zeidman will have more right after this.
I like milk with ice cubes. I like my coach a lot sometimes. I hate golf. I hate golf shoes. And I hate Dallas. I like the TV show. I just don't like the football team. I like my GMC. It's not an import. It's a GMC, and that's the way I like it.
Hi, we're here to tell you about Sunset, our hilarious new film.
Well, actually, it's more of a mystery thriller.
It's a story about a big movie star. That's my part.
It's also about a legendary Western marshal. That's me.
We got shootouts, chases, dancing,
Well,
women.
it's really more a character study of two opposite personalities set against a background of
Reckless passion and lust.
Are you sure we're in the same movie?
Bruce Willis and James Garner in a Blake Edwards film, Sunset, rated R. Starts Friday, April 29th at a theater near you.
no place like it.
You've got to love it.
Welcome back to Sports Channel Studios. Let's go to Boston, check in on Game 3 of that Adams Division Series. The Canadiens and the Bruins. Boston's Mo LeMay picks up the loose puck on the left side, sends the slapper past Patrick Roy. It's 1-0 Bruins. In the second period, watch the Montreal goalie Roy. The puck is loose in front. The Bruins' Steve Kasper has a wide open net but can't get the puck in because Roy grabbed it. Watch Roy. He'll be flat on his back, but comes up with a backhand grab at the puck, just gets it out of the air. Tremendous save, but it is 3-0. Boston leading the Canadiens. The series is tied at 1 apiece. Mets are at St. Louis, a game we're carrying live on Sports Channel Plus. Let's go to Busch Stadium, update you on the story there. Bottom of the first, Cards have Vince Coleman on second. Ron Darling wheels, throws to Kevin Elster, picks off Coleman. Darling helps himself out of a jam there. Mets get on the board first in the second inning. Kevin McReynolds bloops the base hit to center. Strawberry scores. Now Cards pitcher Jose De Leon cuts off the throw, and they get McReynolds in a rundown. Tommy Herr chases McReynolds and makes the tag. Strange incident in this game of the second inning. Umpire Frank Pooley complains of a leg cramp. Why they're holding his nose is beyond me. The Cardinal trainers help him out. Watch Tony Pena steal a ball from the ump while he's in pain. In the meantime, they decide the guy has a torn calf muscle, and he is out indefinitely. Mets and St. Louis. The Yankees are in the Bronx looking for a fourth straight win. Toronto, the opponent. Let's go to Yankee Stadium. Bottom of the second, Roberto Kelly rips a base hit to left center. Lloyd Mosby comes over to make the play, but the ball gets by him. Dave Winfield motors round third. Heads for home. Kelly winds up on third. Winfield scores. It's 1-0 Yankees. Top of the third now. Yankees went up 2-0 on a pag sack fly, but Toronto cuts the lead 2-1. Tony Fernandez sliced the shot to left. Ricky Henderson has trouble handling the ball. Kelly Gruber scores. On the error, it's a one-run lead for the Yanks. Bottom of the sixth, Billy Martin calls for the squeeze play. Roberto Kelly lays it down beautifully. Jack Clark scores easily. Kelly is out. Perfect execution. 3-1 Yanks. Billy Ball is back. They're in the top of the eighth. Baltimore, 9 runs in the first inning they gave up en route to a 16th consecutive loss. Knicks can clinch a playoff spot with a win over the Bucks in Milwaukee. Let's take a quick look there. Terry Cummings has the Bucks rolling early, drives the lane, puts up the junk hook, plus the foul. Bucks led by 5. Knicks try and use the running game. Watch Wilkins drive to the hoop. He misses, but Patrick Ewing is there with a tough rebound for the follow. Knicks in the second quarter trail 33-27. That's the news for now. Harvey Pack will join us on New York Sports Nightly to talk about tomorrow's Wood Memorial. We'll take you back to the Meadowlands after this.
It's time for Lifestyles of the Original Party Animal with the Grand Poobah of Partyometry, Bud Light's own Spuds MacKenzie, as he's playing. His fans watch as he tans his way to party elegance, a facial and massage, and Spuds MacKenzie is ready to party. And Spuds parties with only Bud Light. He knows everything else is just a light.
America speaks out for Chevrolet.
When it comes to real pickups, Japanese trucks just don't cut it. So I looked at the Ford and the Chevy. The new Chevy has more standard power than Ford, more cab room, a bigger standard payload, better acceleration and handling according to the U.S. Auto Club. And my Chevy dealer threw in $500 cash back. So the winner is, you better believe it.
You hear the thunder, the call of the road. No time to wonder, you gotta go. You feel excitement, yeah. Like Pontiac. Get on your Pontiac and ride. Pontiac ride. Drive, Pontiac ride. Ride, Pontiac ride. Get on your Pontiac. We build excitement. Pontiac.
This game on 2 feet. First Sachem home game Sunday, April 24th, 2 p.m. at Hofstra.
After a wild second period, 7-4, Devils leading the Capitals. Jakes McDonald, Peter McNabb standing by. The Washington defense does not seem to be sure as to how to play against this Devils team anymore.
Yeah, they've certainly had their troubles. This is a team that was second only to Montreal in number of goals against. That is, least number against, and they're getting blitzed. They're getting caught a lot, Peter.
Well, I think one of the reasons Jays are getting caught is when the score was 4-1, they decided they had to open up the game. You saw Murphy get the goal that made it 4-2. You start to see the Capital defensemen really rushing up the ice. And as you said, they got caught. There was only one or two Capital players in the zone a couple times when there was good forechecking by the Devils that caused goals. But I think it was more the idea that the Capitals were trying, the defensemen especially, were trying to create some offense.
We'll have to see how many Devils come back for this third period as they get ready for it. Your score here at New Jersey, the Devils 7, the Capitals 4. We'll be right back.
New Jersey Devils Stanley Cup Hockey is brought to you in part by the Hungry Bankers at Midlantic.
When Midlantic was small, Hungry Bankers were tough on shoes. We were always out looking for new opportunities, for ways to meet customers' needs. The more Midlantic grew, the more people expected Hungry Bankers to go that extra mile. It wasn't easy, but it paid off. Today, Midlantic's a top-ranked super regional, offering complete banking services. Some people think we should relax. They must be kidding.
Why do smart car buyers from all over the metropolitan area come to Hillside, New Jersey to buy their new Lincolns and Mercurys?
Not just because of our giant selection of new cars, not just because our service department is second to none. They come to Hillside, New Jersey because we guarantee to beat any competitor's deal or advertised price by at least $500. That's $500, no kidding.
Come to Hillside Lincoln Mercury and save at least $500 more. Route 22 in Hillside, New Jersey.
Easy, just be gentle with it, it'll be fine. Just lower it a little bit. Okay, just lower it. Sorry, Charlie. Take it easy. I knew it wouldn't fit. Get it up. I knew it wouldn't fit. No way. If it's out there, it's in here. I knew it wouldn't fit.
The 9X Yellow Pages. Why would anyone need another?
All set for the face-off to open the third period. Devils win that, getting the puck back to driver, to Joe Cirella. Clint Malarchuk is back in goal for Washington. Pete Peters replaced as Cirella moves in with a centering pass that hit Galley and goes to Scott Stevens. Got it to the line. Driver held it in, played it to the corner for Pat Conacher. Galley takes in off the puck. Ridley moves it back to the Washington goal for Scott Stevens. Up to Mike Ridley. Across to Mike Gartner. Flips it in out of the reach of Miller, who was taken down. There'll be a penalty on the play. Doug Brown is going to get the gate. Malarchuk gets to the Washington bench. The Caps maintain control of the puck. Galley played it to Ridley. Went to center, one right across the goal mouth. Stevens picks it up. Stevens fires one that ends up back of the net. And his driver gets control of it. Doug Brown is whistled to the penalty box for a holding call. Washington getting their 6th power play of the night. They've been good on 1 of the previous 5.
See, the Devils have done a good job in each of the games of keeping the power play to be a not really important factor for the Capitals. They're doing a good job in tonight's game. But this is a big chance the Capitals get back in the game.
Clint Malarchuk, who had gone to the Washington bench for the extra attacker, comes back out. He gave up 4 goals on 11 shots. Pat Conacher on with
48 seconds.
Our friend Stan Fischler between periods and said how he hated that shot. Clint Malarchuk didn't know what he was watching. It was certainly a horror movie. And now he's back into the fray.
I wonder if at that moment he thought he would be back in here for the third period. I don't think so.
No, he'd rather been out on the turnpike, I think, headed back to Washington. What has happened here is the thought going through his mind, no doubt. What do you have to do to win a playoff game?
Because his record coming into tonight's game was 0-5 in the playoffs, and obviously things weren't going that well. But right now, he is not the goalie of record. Peters is the goalie of record because the score was 4-1, and it's the 5th goal right now that is the deciding goal.
Well, you're right on top of it. Thorne's got you trained with the baseball stuff, huh? Pitcher of record and all that stuff. There they go. Scott Stevens with a pass, picked off and cleared by Danico. The Caps set up on the power play. Murphy and Stevens on the points. Gustafson up front with Hunter on one side, Christian on the other. Stevens played it around behind the net. Gustafson lets it go back to Murphy. Fires a one-timer wide of the net. Here's Stevens with a drive off the skates of Danico. He gets double teamed. Hunter comes back to the net. Centers one that goes all the way down the ice. Washington defense started in. The puck went between them. Malarchuk gave it away. Good forechecking by Pat Conacher. He runs into Gustafson, and Carlson drops it back into center ice. Gustafson getting up slowly. Referee Denny Morrell has called the play, feeling that Gustafson perhaps was injured.
You're never sure if Gustafson's hurt or if that's a position he's going to stand on the power play.
He does like to stay high, doesn't he?
The Capitals have a very unusual power play where Gustafson, when the puck is behind the Capitals net, he'll go to the Devils' blue line, stand right on the blue line, and wait for the play to come towards him, and then he'll break one way or the other and try and sort of pick one of the, like a basketball pick, try and pick up one of the Devils defensemen, or at least make them aware of him and let Gartner slip by for a quick pass.
Keeping an eye on the Washington bench, trainer Stan Wong has gone to Gustafson to attend to his needs. Carlson, who had been out for the face-off, is replaced now by Loisel as you watch the Caps setting up in their own end of the ice. The Devils lead 7-4 if you've just joined us. It was 2-1 New Jersey at the end of the first period. They built a 4-1 lead, and the game turned in Washington's favor. They got to within a goal, never did tie it. Here they are with a man advantage, and we watch Pavanka handling the puck, getting it to Ridley, to Galley. Over to Ridley, holds it, backs up a little, gave it to Galley, through a screen, it's blocked in front, backhander, blocked by Burke. It came off Pavanka and is cradled right back to Burke. Good play by Valachek, making sure no loose puck.
Now Pavanka, who had an outstanding series against the Flyers after sort of a disappointing season, hasn't done too much against the Devils. He's another one of the players the Capitals are hoping will come alive scoring-wise. Gartner has come alive with a goal tonight, and Christian, but they could really use Pavanka because they need a lot of people scoring, the Capitals do, because they don't have really a natural scoring team. They don't score many goals.
They thought they had found the magic formula for Pavanka with his mother visiting. His play had improved late in the season, the last couple of games of the regular season, the playoff series with Philadelphia. Pavanka was outstanding in that. He was showing off, perhaps. We all have a tendency to do that, don't we? Ridley in deep to Pavanka, across the goal mouth, off Burke, and it's cleared out to center ice. Hatcher recovers it there. Kevin Hatcher, good pass. Gartner, big slap shot wide of the net, comes back to the left point for Galley. Into Michael Pavanka, bothered by Mark Johnson on the play. Pavanka holding the puck. Pulls it away from the check, on it to Gary Galley, to Kevin Hatcher. His shot through a screen, Burke the save, and the rebound is batted right across the goal mouth by Ridley. Caps hold it at the line. Hatcher to Ridley, couldn't one-time it. Had it in his skates, now plays it across to Galley. He gets checked, and out come the Devils. The pass to Sundstrom. Right back to Johnson, coming in with a drive, he scores! That's the hat trick for Mark Johnson. Goals 5, 6, and 7 in the playoffs.
Right on. Sundstrom makes a terrific play right here. He throws it through Hatcher's legs. Now Hatcher thinks he's got Sundstrom tied up. Now Johnson, University of Wisconsin. When he first came here as a freshman, he weighed 135, 140 pounds, and they say he still had the best wrist shot in Wisconsin history, and you can see that he still has a tremendous shot. Wow. That just beat Malarchuk. It was too quick and too accurate for Malarchuk to do anything.
Now you see the hats on the ice. We've got caps and hats of every description for that man. 30-year-old Mark Johnson. He'd had the label of being a journeyman player for several years after coming out of the U.S. Olympic program, but he has found a home here at the Meadowlands where the Devils lead 8-4 in Game 3 of the Patrick Division Final.
The
The Jeep Sales Event of the Year is on now at your Jeep Eagle dealer. Save up to $2,050 on a select Jeep Comanche loaded up with an option discount package. Or you can save up to $1,800 on a select Jeep Cherokee. Plus, get $750 cash back on Jeep Wagoneer, $1,000 on Grand Wagoneer. Also, hurry in and check out the exciting new Eagle Premier. See America's winners now at your Jeep Eagle dealer. See your tri-state Jeep Eagle dealer. Jeep Eagle, the newest division of Chrysler Corporation.
Well, that sign pretty well says it all. Capital punishment. Little Devil's Fork and the flames down below there. They are rubbing it in tonight here before a capacity crowd. Patrick Sundstrom with an assist on Mark Johnson's goal has become the first Devil to record 6 points in a playoff game. 2 goals, 4 assists tonight for Patrick Sundstrom.
He's just played a great game. That line, we talked about them coming alive. We talked about the Muller line being instrumental winning the last game by being on the ice for most of the goals. And tonight, Johnson and Sundstrom together have been just a dynamic duo.
That goal by Johnson just 11 seconds after the penalty to Doug Brown had expired. Another young Devils fan in attendance.
And Jason, there's one young Devil fan who's not here tonight. Tricia Lynn McNally, an 8-year-old from Yonkers, New York. She sent a poem to the Devils, and I put it in the locker room beforehand, and maybe it's their good luck. So let's say hello to Tricia. She was too sick to come to the game tonight, but her dad gave me the poem. So that's their new good luck.
Maybe you can get one that'll bring a smile to that man's face, Tricia, and work on it.
Oh, I don't know. There's not too much to bring a smile to his face right now.
Ryan Murray has seen his team suffer through playoffs past. They felt that they had accomplished so much with getting by the New York Islanders a couple of years ago, only to run into the New York Rangers and be eliminated in the division final. And after going 7 games and winning in overtime against Philadelphia, they felt they'd taken that giant step. Won game 1 of this series, 3-1. And then, of course, on Wednesday night, the Devils rebounded with a 5-2 victory, and tonight the Devils lead 8-4. The debris still being scraped from the ice here. We're just about ready for the face-off. The other game at Boston, the Bruins now have taken a 3-0 lead over the Canadiens. That will give Boston a 2-1 lead in the series if they win. And it's been 45 years since the Boston Bruins have beaten the Montreal Canadiens in a playoff series.
Can't be that long, then.
You don't remember the last one, do you? Well, this weekend, the Yankees battle George Bell and the Toronto Blue Jays for 2 big games on Sports Channel. Plus, Yankee great Mickey Mantle will be in the broadcast booth for both games. It's the Yanks and the Blue Jays tomorrow night at 7:30 on Sports Channel and Sunday at 1:30 on Sports Channel Plus. Sports Channel, your stop for a Subway Summer Series, or Series Summer, excuse me. Yankee games not available in all areas. Get that Subway Series Summer. All set to go again. Still 17 minutes remaining in the third period. The Devils leading by 4 goals as Brent Ledyard moves in for Washington. Centered one. Peter Sundstrom was there. Tipped it by Burke and up into the seats. The Sunstroms, identical twins. Another story, another one of the storylines, I guess, through this series. Patrick with the big performance here tonight. Peter has never really gotten it going in his National Hockey League career. He's shown signs, but just never has developed to that point of being the star player that everybody thought he might be.
But his first year, he had 20 goals with the Rangers. It looked like he was going to be a solid goal scorer, but he never really developed the Rangers. He went back to Sweden for a year, and this year is his first year back after spending a year in Sweden, and he's basically just turned into a strong defensive checking type player.
Really, there's nothing wrong with that. Goal for everyone. Joe Cirella gets double teamed back of the net, but he got the puck to Claude Loisel, and out he comes on the left side. Cross-ice pass out of the reach of Valasek. Greenlaw put it back to the Devils' end. Here's Joe Cirella slapping it in from center ice. Malarchuk grabbed it. Dropped it for Murphy. And Murphy and Ledyard teamed up. Murphy gave the puck away, and Doug Brown just whistled one by the stick hand side of Clint Malarchuk. Valasek broke up the rush originally. And now Francis Getty is taken out on the boards. The Devils move it out to Doug Brown. Left wing, knocked out of the way of Conacher. Here's Greenlaw down the left side. Putting it wide of Burke. Hustling back, Randy Valasek. Francis Kenny slams him up against the boards. The Devils get to the puck. It's Doug Brown moving it to the blue line where Pavanka knocked it down. Picked up by Hunter. Sundstrom checks him. Now comes Brown. Johnson moves up the right side. Took the pass. Gets into the Devils zone. Was off balance. Regains it. Shoots. What a stop by Malarchuk. Well, what a performance by Mark Johnson to begin with. Holding his balance. Regaining it. And getting that shot away. Here's Scott Stevens leading a 3-on-2 rush for the Caps. Right side. Bobby Gould moves in deep. Put one in front. That's covered by Burke, and there's no further play. 15.5 minutes remaining in the third period.
And Johnson, with his 3 goals tonight, giving him 7 for the playoff series, has taken over the goal-scoring lead with the Devils. But the whole team has come back so many times in this game. They've come back from the fact that Muller was injured. They come back from the fact that the Capitals twice crawled back into the game. For the score to be 8-4 right now, it doesn't seem that you have to give them a lot of credit, because there's several times it looked like they could have started to lose their concentration, lose their poise, and they haven't.
Shots on goal. Washington with 26. The Devils with 24. Some of the fans try to get the wave going here. Cole has cleared the puck into the center ice zone. Hatcher puts it right back in. Out of the net, moves it around the boards, and it skips into the center ice area where a Devil is down. Did not see what happened as the play was moving out. David Maley is down. Now Hatcher is the target, and he is throwing the right. Panico and Hatcher, the main combatants. Now Maley back on his skates is into the Devils end of the ice, and he goes after one of the red-clad Cats. Stephen Hatcher that he had ticketed, and we've got ourselves a real Donnybrook. There's Stevens as a third man in. The linesman trying to pull him back. Apparently it was Hatcher who got Bailey to begin with. The Devils went for him immediately, and once Bailey was on his skates again, he came right back in, and you see the result. I hesitate to use the word end because I don't think this is over.
Wow. I'm not exactly sure. Melee went in to hit Hatcher, and all of a sudden he just went down. Now, it's obvious that the Capitals are going to try to get something established in this game, because they right now are down by 4 goals, and they have to try and set up game 4.
Scott Stevens trying to go to the Washington bench. As you look at the main fight, Stevens went right to the bench and is taunting. There he is, being pulled back now by linesman Wayne Bonney. Hatcher was the main attraction until all of a sudden Stevens decided that he was going to go after anybody. And Wayne Bonney has his hands full, keeping Stevens away from this action in the corner. He's got him out of the center ice zone. We seldom say enough in praise of the officials. Bonney and Knox have had their hands full. I heard a comment from you the other night in the game in Washington about an extra linesman in each of the penalty boxes to come out in cases like this. Not a bad idea. Now David Maley is headed toward the penalty box, and Stevens is screaming long distance at Maley. It looked as if something was going to break up, and Maley has been ushered into the penalty box now. Hatcher, jersey over his head. There you see 2 Devils.
The National Hockey League is going to, they know that the penalty minutes are going to increase. It would just be that much easier for the linesmen to call an efficient game if there was more of them to handle situations like this.
But you wouldn't have them on the ice at all times. It would only be when this breaks up.
In the penalty box. In the penalty box, so they can come out and help in these situations.
We'll have to take up a collection, see if we can get enough money to pay for more officials. 15 minutes and 20 seconds left in the third period. The Devils are leading the Capitals 8-4.
Hey, how you doing? Good. In fact, I feel like a light. Hey. What the? Uh-oh. Oh, I am so. Oh, no. Oh. I meant Bud Light.
If you want the one light that outshines them all, ask for Bud Light. Because everything else...
You all right? Sure, just a little lightheaded.
Is just a light.
referee has drawn his linesmen into their crease area and discussing the penalties that will be handed out. And no doubt there'll be a long list. And some players will probably be going to the dressing room. There's Denny Morrell after having conferred with Swede Knox and Wayne Bonney. It all started in this particular area.
Now, Hatcher's number 4. Now, what is he? He just gets up. He just punched Melee in the head there as Melee was trying to hit him. And Melee went down. Danico must have seen this, and he moved in with Hatcher, and everybody moved down to that end. But you're right, Jiggs, that they cannot have players in the box each for fighting. They automatically get game misconducts.
This is some of the fighting that went on, and there's Melee when he came back, and he went right for a Hatcher, but already had his hands full. There's Stevens. That becomes the third man in, or should, but better not referee here.
We called it the other night, third man in, and Costello just got 2 for roughing, so strictly interpretation.
Yeah, it's never good to second guess or prejudge, I guess, the officials and what they're going to call. Dennis Morrell still trying to determine who and for what. Remember, they meet again Sunday night right here at the Byrne Meadowlands Arena, and we'll have it for you on Sports Channel. Sports Channel, by the way, is looking for the College Sportscaster of the Year. The winner will get a chance to broadcast an inning of a Yankee game later this season. If you think you're the top collegiate broadcaster, here's what you do. Send us an audio or videotape sample of your play-by-play and reporting work. Entries must be under 5 minutes in length, and they must be received no later than April 26th. Remember, you must be a full-time college student. Send your tape to this address. Sports Channel, Student College Sportscaster of the Year, 150 Crossways Park West, Woodbury, New York, 11797. Who knows? You might be right in my seat next season. See the address. Good luck. Well, David Mealy has left the playing area, and Scott Stevens has left as well. These penalties at the 4-minute, 40-second mark of the third period. Thought you had a lot of minutes and penalties in Washington on Wednesday. Well, we got more tonight. The longest stretch of hockey played without a penalty, that is. Longest stretch of the game tonight without a penalty being called has been 5 minutes and 59 seconds.
That's not too much. And James, we've got an update on Kirk Muller. He's a bruise to his right arm, which caused pressure into the nerve. He couldn't feel his hand on the stick. Now look at it tomorrow, and as of right now, they're saying his status for Sunday is questionable. Major blow to the Devils if he can't participate.
Yes, indeed. Well, so much of the creativity and playmaking pivoting for that line with Broughton on one side, Verbeek on the other, quarterbacking the power play, team leadership. Capacity crowd waiting for the announcements of the penalty. I told you that both Mealy and Stevens have already gone to the respective dressing rooms. Montreal has scored 3-1. Boston leading. They must be late in the third period, I would think, barring any incidents like we've had here. Who knows? They may just be starting the second. Right at jesting, of course. Out west, you've got Edmonton going home to play Calgary tomorrow night, and Edmonton with a 2-0 lead in that series. An overtime goal by 99 last night. A ripping shot, a shorthanded goal off left wing to give Edmonton a 5-4 win. Detroit won on a shutout at home last night. They have a 2-0 lead in the series going to St. Louis tomorrow night as well. And of course here, the Devils trying to take a 2-1 lead in games over Washington. They're still trying to sort things out. The officials and the coaches still trying to determine what's happening as well. So while they continue that, we'll take a break. Your score at the Meadowlands Arena remains the New Jersey Devils 8, the Washington Capitals 4.
Back in the 50s, it seemed like the Subway Series was an annual event here in New York. But it's been over 30 years since the Yankees beat the Dodgers in '56 to end the last one. Now this season, it's your turn to get on board for a Subway Series Summer, because over half the games played by the Mets and Yankees will be available only on Sports Channel. So get on board for a Subway Series Summer, right here on Sports Channel.
You see Jim Schoenfeld, early indication up on the penalty board here is that Hatcher has a major penalty. And Danico is listed with having a minor penalty. Here's the reading.
He receives 2 minutes roughing, 5 minutes fighting, and a 10-minute misconduct. And number 4, Kevin Hatcher, receives a double minor, 10 minutes for fighting. A double major, 10 minutes for fighting. The Devils penalties, number 3, Ken Danico, 2 minutes roughing and 5 for fighting. And number 8, Dave Maley, 2 minutes roughing, 5 minutes fighting, and a game misconduct.
I think they've misread Stevens.
The time of the penalties come at 4:40.
Well, the Maley roughing, and a fighting penalty and a game misconduct. The interpretation, as I gather it, is that Maley is the third man in. Hatcher already was in a fight when Maley came in. And then Stevens.
But if he got a major for fighting, he has to. Second, I thought it was a second fight, your automatic game misconduct. That's what Anderson, that's what, pardon me, Kurbers and Corvo got the other night.
Well,
because that's very important call for the Devils, because Stevens, with 1 game misconduct, if he was to get another, he would have to miss a game. And so right now, Lou Lamoriello across the way is on the phone. And I'm sure that he's trying to figure out why his player got a game misconduct and the other player only got a misconduct.
Who would he be calling? Who's he talking to, Peter? Any idea?
Pizza for later, I feel.
Well, we know that he's not on long distance to the Soviet Union, don't we?
Well, you never know, Lou. Lou likes to think ahead. You know?
I'm just thinking of the time difference. I don't think they want to hear from him. Perhaps. In any event, Maley has a game misconduct. After a double fighting penalty, 10 minutes. Stevens, roughing, fighting, and misconduct. Danico, roughing and fighting. All of these penalties at the 4-minute, 40-second mark. Third period.
And Jigs, now with the fact that Carlson has been in, came back, tried it. His hip wouldn't allow him to go. The Devils are down to 8 forwards. And they had their 6 defensemen, but they are down to 8 forwards that they can use for the rest of the game.
Aaron Broughton over to relay some information to the officials as Ryan Murray shouts instructions to his team. Those 2 lonely individuals over on the far side are Joe Cirella and Swede Knox. 8-4. Lou Francisgetti has joined Hatcher in the penalty box. He's to serve the minor penalty on Stevens. And we're all set now. A major penalty against Washington, a minor against the Devils. So, barring further penalties in a couple of minutes, the Devils will have a 3-minute power play to work on. And they'll have the maximum time. Oh, what a hit. As Valashek went in, he got knocked down heavily. This is Pavanka carrying the puck over center ice. Into the Devils zone, chased to the boards by Cirella. But Brown takes it from back of the net. Being hounded on the play by Ridley. Brown with Valashek. Around the boards, off Cirella, who regains control of it. Gave it to Valashek. Pulled away from the forechecking of Michael Pavanka. Played it off Brown's stick, and at center ice, Ledyard picks it up. Dumps it right back in again. Cirella chasing it. Marcel heads for the Devils players bench. Out comes Aaron Broughton as we watch Joe Cirella put the puck on Broughton's stick. Gustafson knocked it away. It's picked up by Murphy. Over to Gartner, comes in off the left wing board, shoots one, glove save by Burke. Holds on to it. And again, some pushing and shoving after the whistle. Thus far, nothing too serious develops.
You see Larry Murphy, who was 1 overtime period away from having a very long summer. He had no points against Philadelphia in this series until he assisted on the overtime winner by Hunter against Philadelphia. And in this series so far, he's got a couple of goals and is playing a far better series here. So he's saved himself a little bit of a long summer.
Yeah, I would kind of think so. Gartner's shot, you saw in the replay, being grabbed by Burke. It's a long season for Larry Murphy. Really wasn't the goal-scoring force that he had been in the past. Didn't move up, join the play as much as he had in previous years. He was one of several Capitals players who got married last summer. Not that I'm blaming that. Here's Gartner with a chance. Can't pick up the loose puck. Now he gets to it. Went to the backhand and lost it to Aaron Broughton. Broughton out to center ice with Conacher, who moves over the line, lost control of it in his skates. Galley hit by Broughton as he moved it to center ice. The patch to Gartner, and there will be a penalty. Gartner trying to go through the defense, goes down, and the Devils will be shorthanded. 35 seconds remaining in the minor penalty against Danico. The Devils were looking at a long power play, but there goes a couple minutes of it.
And you know the referee is going to be looking for something in those situations because it looks like he's given the Devils almost control of the game. It'll be only 5 minutes to go, probably 10 minutes to go in the game when it starts. So this gives the Capitals a chance to at least play just even up and gives them a chance to get back in the game.
6:06, the time of the penalty to Pat Verbeek. Over at the Washington bench, you see Mike Gartner wearing the C as the captain of the club due to the absence of Captain Rod Langway. Langway suffering a gash, back of his ankle, back of his leg in game 1, is out of this series. The leg has been placed in a cast. If the Caps should advance, they expect that Langway would be ready to play in another series, the next one. Murphy with the pass to Galley, in deep to Hunter. Hunter went in front that was deflected. Pavanka couldn't get to it. Patrick Sundstrom did and shot at the length of the ice. Malarchuk left it for Larry Murphy. Murphy goes to the right side to Galley into the Devils zone. Right back to Murphy. Comes right in. Goes back of the net with it. Murphy centers one in front. Right to Randy Valashchak. And he shoots at the length of the ice.
You saw Valashchak ice that puck. But the puck before was iced by Patrick Sundstrom. And even with 2 goals, 4 assists, he's still the player Coach Schoenfield wants out there and feels best suited for 4-on-3 play.
Devils come up 3-on-3 here. Galley controlling it. Centered one. Pavanka could not tip it, and Burke cleared that aside. Christian gets to it. Into Pavanka. Centers one across. Christian waved at it. It ends up on the boards. Gustafsson comes in after it. And Gustafsson tied up with Patrick Sundstrom, and Gustafsson is hit hard by Pat Verbeek. Zarella with a pass to Valashchak. Into the center ice zone. The teams are at 5 aside, giving the goaltenders. Ledger back for the puck. Matt Ledger moved it to Bob Gould. 2 men back. Gould to Christian, and they're offside, trying to get into the Devils' end of the ice. Now 12 minutes and 29 seconds remaining. Told that Scott Stevens has been cut on the top of the right hand, and they're waiting for the doctor to check that out down in the Washington dressing room area.
When all the players fell into the pile there, those skates, which obviously are so sharp, they cut Rod Langway and might have just sliced him on top of the hand. That would be as big a blow as it would be for the Devils to lose Muller. Would be an equally big blow to lose Stevens on top of Langway.
Sure would. 12 and a half minutes remaining in the third period. The Devils lead by 4 goals. They're up 8-4 on home ice. Here's Christian with a pass that's intercepted by Claude Loisel. He puts on a burst of speed. Trying to go around Ledyard. Held the puck. Takes it back in the net. Ledyard knocked it away from him. In comes Doug Brown. Put it back to the Washington goal. Clint Malarchuk plays it around the boards. Driver moved in for it. To center it to Brown. Puts it out in front. That's swept aside by Malarchuk. Brown after it again. What a pleasant surprise Doug Brown has been. Not only through the season, but here in the playoffs as well. The defensive specialist has come up with some big goals and outstanding forechecking for the Devils.
It just seemed every time we were talking about Doug Brown having a good game, it was in a big game.
Now the penalties back up this way. Devils with a man advantage again. Yeah, he has really come through key games. Mark Johnson gave it and got it right back from Wolanin to Driver. Goes in, played it off the boards, and it went to Ridley. But Ridley drops it back to Ben Gustafson. Over to Ridley. Ridley's waiting. McLean comes in to forecheck. Ridley dumps it into center ice. It's picked up there by Mark Johnson. He's over the Washington line. The puck slipped off his stick and has been cleared out to center ice by Gustafson. Herber's back. Give it to Verbeek. Now to Sundstrom. To Johnson. He shoots. He scores! It's automatic. Give it to Johnson. He puts it in. That's his fourth of the night.
And you know who's going to be giving it to him? Patrick Sundstrom. Sundstrom and McLean makes a nice play to Sundstrom. Sundstrom quickly gets it over to Johnson. I think that's been one of the real keys to the success that line has had tonight. How quickly Sundstrom has got the puck over to Johnson. Here's a play, the pass to McLean, McLean to Sundstrom, but Sundstrom just gets it and fires the pass over. Now Johnson has a lot to shoot at because Malarchuk was reading Sundstrom to pass the puck. Probably shoot the puck, and when he passed it, he did not have his angle set. See, McLean will hit Sundstrom. Now watch Sundstrom gets it over so quickly. You see Malarchuk was really struggling to come back there.
His 8th of the season. There is Mark Johnson, 30 years of age. The oldest forward on this Devils team. Jack O'Callahan, defenseman, is also 30. The two of them, I guess, share the age honors. Bob Solvay is 32. He is the backup goaltender. When we talk about a young Devils team, they are that. Matured at the right time. Have really come together. 9-4. That's a power play goal by Johnson.
They'll continue to have the power play, Jace, because this is a 5-minute penalty that Stevens got, so that he can score as many goals as they can.
And the Devils are back into the Washington zone. Curvers with a pass to Pat Conacher. Conacher trying to come out of the corner. Put it between the skates of Aaron Broughton. The beak in the corner gets checked. And the penalty, the major penalty, is all but over. We've got another penalty call coming up. This will be against the New Jersey Devils. Gartner gets over the line on the right side. There's one that's grabbed by Burke. He holds it. And now Washington will go to a power play. The major penalties are all over. 10 minutes and 13 seconds, the time remaining in the third period. And the Devils lead by a score of 9-4. We'll return to the Meadowlands after we pause.
When you think of a bank, say Riverhead Savings Bank. What comes to mind? Well, obviously your money and its safekeeping. For over a century, we've been making your hard-earned money more available for your family, your home, and financial future. And in that time, nothing has changed at Riverhead Savings Bank. The same warm, personal attention and a spectrum of banking services.
That's Riverhead Banking.
Since 1872, helping Long Island and Long Islanders grow.
See the story on Aaron Broughton. 2 minutes for slashing at the 9:47 mark of this third period. Washington trailing by 5 goals. Send out a power play of Hunter, Adams, and Christian with Galley and Murphy at the points. Hunter was moved out of the face-off circle. That's Christian, and Loisel beat him on the draw. What a job Loisel has done throughout the playoffs, winning face-offs, and we've got another delayed penalty. This will be against Washington. Hunter's going to get the gate for slashing. Well, he's upset. Washington power play nullified, and I think they'll add an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty to this as well. Just saw the tee from referee Morrell as Hunter had a lot to say on his way to the penalty box.
Here's a man who will have a lot to say tomorrow, after the game tonight and tomorrow, to his team about starting to get back to what they feel they have to do, play solid defense. 9 goals in tonight's game is just not the kind of totals you expect the Washington Capitals to give up.
Now a team that was second in the Jennings Trophy race. Montreal gave up the fewest goals of any of the teams, 238. And Hunter has just been assessed a game misconduct penalty to go along with an unsportsmanlike and a slashing penalty at 9:57. So it's good night to Mr. Hunter. Has he taken the lead in playoff penalty minutes yet?
That's 2 minutes slashing, 2 minutes.
He is certainly running the total up. He had a note prior to the game that he trailed only Tiger Williams and Dave the Hammer Schultz. He has picked up 2, 4, another 10 here to go with whatever he had prior to that.
He hasn't caught him. He's very close. He's moving up rapidly.
And he's only 27 years of age. And you know this Washington team is going to be around the playoffs for several seasons. And he no doubt will hold the record all by himself eventually. It really is a bit of a surprise, I'm sure, to a lot of fans. You're familiar with Tiger Williams and some of his antics, I suppose you could call them, over the years. You want to tell us about season tickets, Peter?
Fans, the best way to follow Devils is as a Devils season ticket holder. Devils season ticket holders get the best seats in the house for all games, including priority seating for the Stanley Cup playoffs. The Devils are now forming a priority list for 88-89 season, and if you'd like to add your name to that list, please call the Devils during regular business hours at 201-935-6050.
A report from the Washington dressing room is that Scott Stevens has a lacerated left thumb. It's being stitched up now. Of course, he's finished for the night, not because of the injury, but because of penalties. Long shot grabbed out of the air by Malarchuk. Good drive right on the target by Sorella. Honecker out there along with Verbeek. Honecker won that faceoff. Balischek moves up along the boards on the left side. Sorella is about 10 feet off the circle. Dave Christian taking the faceoff for Washington. 9-4 is the score. We still have half this period to play. And again, the Devils get the draw. Back to Sorella. Puts it in the corner. Christian chases it. In comes Conacher. Matt Conacher tying it up on the boards. Pavanka trying to dig it out of his skates. Verbeek got to it, got knocked down. Conacher after the puck. Christian controls it with a pass across to Galley. Gary Galley drops into his own zone. 1 minute and 22 seconds remaining in the Devils penalty. Back to Broughton. 3.5 minutes left now, and the penalties to Hunter. Caps being bottled up in their own end of the ice here. Trying to come out. The puck skips off some skates. Went to Balischek. Trying to drop it into the corner. Murphy gets checked by Pat Verbeek. Honecker tying it up with Galley. In comes Verbeek. Left up Murphy a little bit. There will be a penalty on the play as Pavanka starts out. The penalty being delayed. Pavanka moving up on Sorella. Just dumped it into the Devils zone. And as Burke comes out to control it, the penalty will be on Pat Verbeek. It'll be roughing. 8 minutes and 58 seconds left in the third period. The Devils in control here in Game 3. They lead by a score of 9-4.
Of all the cars, on all the roads, there's one unconventional choice. An Alfa Romeo with 4 doors. The Milano. Its extraordinary aluminum V6 muscles up to 183 horsepower, and its provocative style will take you where you've never been before. The Alfa Romeo Milano, driven to be different.
A trio of Devils in the penalty box. Verbeek making it 3, a roughing penalty at 11:02. Caps with 1 power play goal on 8 opportunities in this game. Gustafson dropped it to the blue line. Ledyard gave it right back to him. Got it in return. One-timed it. Wide. Comes off the glass. Wolanin to Patrick Sundstrom. It rolls to the line and held in. Ledyard with it. Gave it to Gustafson. Rolled off his stick. All right, back to Ledyard. Trapped it right at the blue line. That's Ridley. Across to Gustafson. To the point, Ledyard to Ridley. Ridley chased all the way back to the blue line by both Driver and Sundstrom, and that shot hit Driver on the back. Goes to Gartner. To Ridley. The puck knocked away from him. He recovered, got it to Gartner. Can't get the shot away. Now a drive gets through to Burke, and he covers it and holds on. Broughton is out of the penalty box. Teams are at 5 aside. again, including goaltenders. And Jim Schoenfeld making a player change. Brian Murray counters as well. Now Danico is released from the penalty box. This penalty had not affected the number of men on the ice. Peter?
You watch the playoffs and the intensity with which they're played, and you have to start to wonder, are there too many series these teams have to play to get to the finals? These teams have to finish this series, go to the semifinals, and then to the finals. How many players on each team are going to be available from the roster that started at the beginning of the Stanley Cup playoffs?
That's a very good point. And I think in this conference more so than out west.
Exactly. The Western teams don't seem to lose the number of players that are lost from the Patrick and the Adams division, and you can see that you almost have to stockpile healthy bodies over the course of the year if you're in this division.
Montreal feeling that effect right now as we look at a replay here of Galley's shot from the left point.
Montreal's lost Corson, Naslin, Richer, and Gainey.
Yeah.
Now, those are 4 very important players.
I think they may get Naslin back by Sunday or at least next Tuesday. Still, to be without him at this stage of the season is what you hate the most. And looking at this situation tonight, you just hope that the injury to Kirk Muller is not serious, or the injury to Scott Stevens. Nothing that would keep them out of the lineup. Of course, they've already lost Rod Langway for the series. Back to the series between Montreal and the Islanders as they were going for Stanley Cup number 5 in the battle. Ooh, there's a hit. Balischek on Murphy. But it was war. By the time they got to Edmonton, the Oilers were healthy, save for a couple of bruises and hurts here and there. Nobody out of the lineup. Brown moves out. Murphy drops back, coming up to join the play is Cirella. Brown holds the puck, holds it, moves in, shoots. Malarchuk makes the save, and Galley picks up the loose puck. Gary Galley joined now by Gould as they come over the line. The pass to the right side. Peter Sundstrom gave it to Bob Gould. Gould trying to come out of the corner, got tied up on the boards. And the Devils come up with it. Johnny McLean lugs the puck into center ice. Gave it to Verbeek on right wing. Devils with a man advantage here. Verbeek, or McLean rather, just shot it wide. Driver at the left point. Back to center one. Goes right to Curvers into the corner. Conacher shot blocked. Oh, what a save by Malarchuk on the rebound as McLean was right there along with Verbeek. Caps have shot it down the ice. Curvers coming back for it. 30 seconds remaining in the penalties that were handed out to Hunter. And the Devils end up putting it in the center ice area. 6.5 minutes remaining in the third period. Offside is being called. The Devils lead 9-4. And they'll be back here Sunday night for game number 4 in this series. You'll see it on Sports Channel beginning at 7:30 Sunday night. But the Devils appear to be headed for a 2-1 lead in this best-of-7 series for the Patrick Division title.
You have to wonder if there are going to be some lineup changes for each of the teams now because of the fact that you've got injuries, you've got players that aren't playing well for both sides now. Is Schoenfeld going to come back with Burke? People were saying that it was interesting that he played Burke in the first series, in the second series when he didn't play him in the first series in game 2. What I think what people have to remember is in the first series was 4 games and 5 nights.
Exactly. There's McLean with a shot that was blocked by Malarchuk. McLean plays it back outside the line. Wolanin with it at center ice. The Devils' power play has been excellent tonight. 3 of 6 with the man advantage. But how about this? Only 4 shots on goal on 6 power plays, 3 goals. It's not quantity.
It's quality.
We got it. McLean dug it off the boards. Gustafson shoots it off the glass into the center ice zone, and there's Danico with a pass to Pat Sundstrom. Sundstrom coming right in on goal. A backhander, he scores! A new National Hockey League playoff record for Patrick Sundstrom. 8 points. He has erased Wayne Gretzky's name from Stanley Cup record books. Gretzky 3 times had 7 points in a playoff game. That man, Patrick Sundstrom, with 8. 3 goals, 5 assists. You saw it on Sports Channel. You'll see it again.
And Jake, knowing Patrick, I played with him in Vancouver when he was traded to New Jersey. There was a lot of frustration. This may be the one night, along with the assist in Chicago, that he really feels that people have seen just exactly what a kind of hockey player he is. That is those are kind of nights as a hockey player you put away. You know, he'll come into the dressing room after the game and he'll be just as humble as possibly can be, but later on, when you look back, you get a chance to reflect on it. It is a tremendous moment. And even being a teammate, it's great to look and be a part of a night like that.
It's a big 10-4 for the Devils. And I'll tell you, Patrick Sundstrom has 3 goals, 5 assists. Now, Wayne Gretzky, in establishing the 7-point mark, did it 3 times. Now we've got a fight out in the center ice area. You see a replica of the Stanley Cup. And now this melee. Gretzky, in 83, in the series with Calgary, had a night of 4 goals and 3 assists. In 85, in the series with Winnipeg, at 3 goals and 4 assists. And against the Kings, in the 87 series, had a goal and 6 assists. Tonight, against a tight defensive Washington Capitals team, Patrick Sundstrom has 3 goals and 5 assists for 8 points, a new playoff record. We may be approaching another one in penalty minutes as they continue to try and separate some combatants here. On that Sundstrom goal, Danico gets the only assist. What a night. And to think that they'll do it again on Sunday. And we'll be back in Washington on Tuesday.
It may be Sunday.
It could well be.
James, before this series started, a lot of people were saying, oh, it's too bad Philadelphia didn't win because this series isn't going to have the kind of intensity that New Jersey.
Who said that?
There were a lot of people that said it would have been better if Philadelphia would have won. Then they would have been that real intense hockey. But I think right now, after not even 3 games, these teams have developed a real deep rivalry.
Well, Jeff Greenlaw still would like to get a piece of Craig Lelannon. Greenlaw is being ushered toward the Washington dressing room. He is hesitant to go. Doesn't want to leave without getting a few final words in. Barry Murphy is off the ice, headed toward the Washington dressing room, but he stopped in deep conversation with some fans just before going down the tunnel, Peter.
He should get out of there because you never know what's going to come flying down.
Well, they'll sort this one out again. Still 5.5 minutes remaining in the 3rd period, but look at that. The Devils lead the Capitals in Game 3, 10-4.
It's not unusual that Subaru has sold a lot of cars. What is unusual is how many of them are still running. An astonishing 92% of all Subarus registered since 1978 are still on the road. And now, if you buy a Subaru, you'll get back as much as $2,000. Of course, that $2,000 may not be built to last, but at least you know your Subaru is.
Now you see them recovering sticks and gloves, sorting things out. One of the unfortunate things tonight, I suppose, we've seen some great individual performances. We've seen some fine team performances, but we've also seen this problem. All the fighting, and I say unfortunate, around the country, perhaps a lot of reporters and television stations will show you the fights only, not the great individual plays by Mark Johnson and getting 4 goals, or Patrick Sundstrom establishing a new record, but this is where the National Hockey League gets its black eye from time to time, is just this type of thing. We've been at it for just about 3 hours and 15 minutes, I guess, trying to decide this game, although that has been decided. 10-4. There's no way the Caps are going to get 7 goals in the last 5.5 minutes, so you can put the W in the column for the Devils and a 2-1 lead in the series. If you've got the tape running, or if you don't, start the tape, do it quickly, because you're going to see history in the making. Patrick Sundstrom, as we isolated on him earlier, number 17. Play starting deep in the Devils' end of the ice.
And Jigs, with this will be his 8th point tonight. The 7 other points he had in the playoffs. He's now moving to second in scoring in the playoffs in the National Hockey League. And he and Mark Johnson with Johnny McLean, Kirk Mullett. The Devils are now becoming the offensive force I think they felt they could become all season.
Yeah, I agree. We're getting an announcement on the penalties.
And number 3, Ken Danico, number 32, Matt Conacher, each 10-minute misconduct. The time of all penalties, 14:21.
Well, misconduct penalties to Danico and Conacher. These penalties at 14:21 of the third period. The Washington penalties included Murphy, a 10-minute misconduct. Greenlaw draws a misconduct penalty as well. And Gary Galley, a roughing penalty. Loisel got a double roughing penalty and then those misconducts. So the Devils are a man short, and Doug Brown is over the Washington line on left wing. Sundstrom to the front of the net. There's Brown with a shot. Malarchuk just got the heel of the goal stick on it. Sundstrom digs it off the boards. Couldn't find a Devil open, and up the ice comes Gartner. Into the Devils' end. Gave it to Adams. Adams got checked. Caps hold it at the blue line. This is Christian to Gustafson. Back to Christian. Centered one off the heel of Sundstrom's skate. He comes to center ice. Gustafson feeds Christian. Caps with 5 forwards out on the ice on this power play. And Cirella has shot at the length of the ice. Malarchuk leaves it for Gustafson. Oh, Malarchuk and Johnson in a collision. We've got another penalty call coming. It'll be against the goaltender, Clint Malarchuk. He's going to claim that Johnson was in the goal crease, but referee Denny Morrell knows better than that.
And again, the frustration does come out at the end of the game. And you see Malarchuk clearly move into Johnson, but that's the thing that you have to accept. And when you're a player on the ice for the Devils, you know that this is going to happen, and you just prepare yourself.
Should we attempt to add up the penalty minutes in this game? Malarchuk for interference. Another 2 minutes, called at 15:26. We don't have enough of those little bites in our computer. Get this one totaled. Man. 10-4. That's the important thing. The Devils with 10 goals. Mark Johnson has 4. Patrick Sundstrom has 3.
Goaltender Clint Malarchuk, he receives 2 minutes.
Over and above that, Ron Loisel and Anders Carlson have goals. Loisel has a pair, I should add. We've had 199 penalty minutes in this game.
I was wondering what those Buffalo-Boston games were like to watch, and I've seen it tonight.
If we ever. Broughton on the draw, kicked the puck back to the point to Curvers, to Broughton. Ridley knocked it away from him. Leads it to Kelly Miller on right wing. Miller trying to get in on Curvers. Can't center it. Ridley takes it out of the corner, put it in front off the skates of Ledyard. Burke cleared that aside. Here's Bruce Driver. Down on his knees. And Driver able to recover the puck in time to clear it around behind the net. Mark Johnson runs into a check from Miller. Ridley feeds it to Hatcher. Where'd he come from? Now Ridley at the side of the net. Goes to center one that's tipped out in front, right to Aaron Broughton. And Curvers. Hatcher, you'll remember, was involved in a double fighting penalty. 10 minutes and more have gone since that time. It's gone off the penalty clock. On the time of day clock, it's taken over a half hour. Valaschak trying to clear it out. It hit Gould. Went to O'Lannon, up to Pat Verbeek. Verbeek into center ice. Giving it to Doug Brown. Devils with a man advantage here. 52 seconds left in the penalty to the goalkeeper, Malarchuk. Into center ice comes Lou Francis Getty. Valaschak grabs him, takes him down. We're over 200 minutes in penalties now as Randy Valaschak will get the gate. And Washington in 41 seconds will have a man advantage, barring any further penalties. It'll be a holding call to Valaschak.
I think what the referee right now is trying to do is just keep as few players as possible on the ice. Just let there only be 3 or 4 players for the rest of the game so that nothing more can develop, because there is no need. There should be a white towel someone can throw in when the game gets to be this 10 to 4.
The alternate official tonight, standby referee, is Paul Stewart. Now, in his days of playing the World Hockey Association and the NHL, you know that he would have loved to have been in a game like this, don't you, Pete?
This would have been his bread and butter. He would have been one of the players dressed specifically for this type of game.
Somewhere in the stands here tonight, Paul Stewart must be conjuring up a million memories and visions of nights past.
That's what he always says. Do not try and con me, because I have tried every single thing that can possibly be tried. So just go to the box. I don't want to hear about it.
Aaron Broughton shooting it into the Washington end of the ice. Backcourt is Grant Ledyard. Ledyard played it around Aaron Broughton, and here's big Kevin Hatcher with a pass to Mike Gartner on right wing. Gartner chased to the corner, taken down by Wolanin. Hatcher knocks the puck out of the air and then is met immediately by Broughton. Loose puck, Sundstrom with a pass to Wolanin. Comes over center, take the shot at the blue line, then let one go, and it was just wide of Malarchuk. Good shot. 2.5 minutes remaining. Sundstrom for Washington is back out on the ice, so the Caps have a man advantage. Peter Sundstrom taken out on the boards by Wolanin. Gartner picks up the puck. Plays it behind the net. That's Christian. Centers one. They bang at it and shot it wide. Peter Sundstrom had an opportunity. And Zarella shoots at the length of the ice. Devils are still short-handed. Malarchuk holding it as Christian comes back. The goaltender played it to the left side for Grant Ledyard. Rink wide. David Christian with it. He's given it to Bob Gould, who dumps it in. Picked off the boards and cleared high over the glass off the stick of Curvers. The clock stops with 1 minute and 54 seconds left before the Devils can begin their official celebration of having taken a 2-1 lead in this series. And Brian Murray, the Caps coach, will have a long night and a full day tomorrow to consider what his team needs to do to get themselves back into the series.
And what the first thing he's going to tell the players is 3-2 in overtime, 10-4. There still is just a loss. And they can come back. They came here specifically to get one of the 2 games here at the Meadowlands. And they start fresh, of course, on Sunday night. And that's what he'll be telling his players, to come back and think about that game.
Long shot by Christian, went high and wide, and now the Devils' clearing effort ends up in the seats. Still 1 minute and 44 seconds remaining in the third period. Yeah, it's one that they'll wrestle with for a little while, but not too long. Players have a tendency, especially 10-4, if it was 4-3 or 5-4, 1 goal, 2 goals, they go out of here, things, hey, you know. But 10-4, there's a tendency to forget that quickly.
You have to forget it quickly, because there is no place to worry about it in playoffs. During the regular season, you might do a little more worrying, because what broke down, they know that this was just a fluke. The Washington Capitals don't allow 10 goals.
No.
And this, I mean, obviously they did tonight, but on a normal rule of thumb. So just put it out of their mind as quickly as possible and start worrying about Sunday.
See the Caps and the Devils at 6 aside for one of the few times in the game. Galley with a pass to Ridley. Checked in his own zone by Broughton. Brown picks up the puck. Doug Brown turns over on the far wing. Slipped one in front to Pat Verbeek to the side of the net for Broughton. Broughton out to Brown. Malarchuk the save, and Verbeek slams into him, and now Verbeek is knocked down. Gary Galley put Verbeek down. Broughton is there, and we have some more penalties. 52 seconds left in the third period. Well over the 200 minutes in penalties in this game. But the Devils 52 seconds away from a 2-1 lead in the best-of-7 series.
And what coaches get afraid of right now, Jigs, is someone getting the stick up, cutting someone, getting that match penalty that they have to review, and then possible suspensions. Because right now the tempers and the frustration are right on that borderline. And the referee is watching for it. They're trying, but if someone does something that obviously they're going to regret, but you know, it's the league has to look into it, and there's possible suspensions, and that's what coaches are saying. Stay away from it.
Yeah, hopefully nobody will click out, as players like to term it, and lose it.
Time of the penalties, 19:08.
The only penalty.
Penalties for number 2 of the Capitals, Gary Galley. And
Excuse me, making roughing penalties to both Galley and Verbeek. 19:08, the time of the penalties. Aaron Broughton put the puck beyond Pavanka. Ledyard moves it up the boards. There's McLean. Pavanka takes control. It's knocked away. Pavanka recovered. Ledyard clears it out to center ice. Evan Hatcher bothered by McLean as he gave it to Francis Getty. Drops it deeper into the Washington zone. The crowd standing now with 34 seconds left. They begin the standing ovation. Many of the crowd have headed for the exits, but the Devils, with 25 seconds to go, have a 10-4 lead over the Caps. Here's Hatcher trying to move in. The puck was up on edge, and his shot ends up in the seats with 16 seconds left. A long road to the playoffs for the New Jersey Devils in their 6th season here in this beautiful facility. While I have a second, I want to get the inside scoop on the McNabb household. Your dad was so instrumental, Peter, in putting together the Washington franchise, took a floundering franchise and made a contender of it, then came here, took a team that had been in disarray, dismantled, and moved from a couple of different cities in here and didn't get off to a good start. And here they are, teams that came into the league together and have had the McNabb touch to them. How's he handling this series?
Oh, he knows a few players, of course, on the Washington team, but totally the New Jersey Devils 100%. Someone asked me, here's the penalty minutes, 221 minutes in penalties in this game. Obviously not something the National Hockey League is proud of, but those kind of games are going to happen. They say they want intensity, and that's what they're going to get with these type of players.
31 shots each. There's 32 for Washington, if they count that one. And the final 2 seconds tick off the clock. You've got a 10-4. A big 10-4 for the New Jersey Devils. Okay. Very
small group surrounding each one of the goaltenders tonight.
Yeah, a lot of folks got an early shower. See the Caps headed off the ice. The celebration, congratulations for Sean Burke continues. And now the Devils leave the ice. Burke in this series, 2 wins and a loss. His goals against damaged a little bit tonight. But overall, his 5th victory in playoff hockey. And the New Jersey Devils have defeated the Washington Capitals. The final score is 10-4. Washington was credited with a shot on goal, that last long shot. So they have 10 in the 3rd period, while the Devils also with 10, 32-31. The shots on goal favor of the Washington Capitals. The Devils led 7-4 going to the 3rd period. And the rout was on. Mark Johnson got the hat trick, Sundstrom assisting at the 2:59 mark. And then Johnson with his 4th of the game, a power play from Sundstrom and McLean at 9:03. And then Patrick Sundstrom from Danico at 14:14. That ended the scoring. And with it, Patrick Sundstrom, the star of the night, had a new Stanley Cup playoff record. 8 points, 3 goals, 5 assists, and there he is. Hearing it from the crowd again, giving them a salute and headed down the runway toward the Devils dressing room. He has set a Stanley Cup playoff record tonight as the Devils defeat the Capitals 10-4. Now let's join Lee Zeidman in our studios for a Sports Channel update.
Thanks, Jigs. Coming up, the complete Stanley Cup playoff report on New York Sports Nightly. We'll start with the playoffs in Boston. It was Montreal and the Bruins. We'll also hear from Stan Fischler with post-game analysis of the Devils and Caps. The Mets lead the Cardinals 4-0. They're in the bottom of the 9th on Sports Channel Plus. Yankees finally home in the Bronx, battling with the Blue Jays. Close game there. And Sports Channel's thoroughbred expert Harvey Pack previews tomorrow's Wood Memorial at Aqueduct. Plus, George Steinbrenner will be talking about agents and what they've done to professional sport. Those stories, all the scores, highlights, and much more tonight on New York Sports Nightly after Jigs and Peter wrap it up from the Meadowlands. Stay tuned to Sports Channel.
Okay, Mike, your turn it back. The New Jersey Bell Directory.
He brought the phone book?
This part shows trips you can take in New Jersey. And maps, too.
Enunciate.
This yellow part has many ads.
We're out here, Mike.
Timmy and I used it once to buy stuff for our worm farm. Yeah.
Go on, Mike.
Well, we grew these giant night crawlers that were so big we had to put them in suitcases.
The New Jersey Bell Yellow Pages, the one that works.
When Mid-Atlantic was small, hungry bankers were tough on shoes. We were always out looking for new opportunities, for ways to meet customers' needs. The more Mid-Atlantic grew, the more people expected hungry bankers to go that extra mile. It wasn't easy, but it paid off. Today, Mid-Atlantic's a top-ranked super regional, offering complete banking services. Some people think we should relax. They must be kidding.
You're watching Sports Channel, the official channel of the New York Fan.
I give up, Brian.
Listen, Rick, hockey players are a lot like the vehicles of Van Buren GMC.
You mean tough, durable, and stylish?
Right. So when you're skating, think of the smooth ride vehicles from Van Buren provide on any surface. And when you're shooting, be confident, like Mr. Goodwrench, because no one knows your GM truck better, no one. Then put it all together while remembering anything cars can do, Van Buren can do better.
Nice shot, Rick.
Thanks, Brian.
The amazing New Jersey Devils continue to amaze. A 10-4 win over the Capitals tonight. They lead the series 2-1. The man on my left, Patrick Sundstrom, tonight broke Wayne Gretzky's record for most points in a playoff game. Wayne had 7. Tonight, Patrick Sundstrom, 3 goals, 5 assists. Just an incredible hockey. Patrick, first of all, your feelings about the game.
Well, that was a really big win for us, and we're up 2-1 now, and you have to try to concentrate on the next game.
I have to tell you a story. There's a hockey writer from Finland who came to the game tonight. His name is Tarmo Chunas, and before the game, he said he knows you from watching you play in Sweden. He said he hopes that Patrick Sundstrom will play a good game tonight. You did very well by him.
Yeah, maybe we should keep him here rest of the playoffs.
Now, I was remarking earlier that one of the things I admire about you, we were talking about in the pregame show, is that you're one of the few guys who plays forward, killing penalties, who throws himself and blocks the shots so well. Tonight, you not only played your usually defensive game, but you played a tremendous offensive game. Now, is there any particular feeling that you have knowing that you broke Wayne Gretzky's record?
Well, you know, that's not bad, you know, to break one of Wayne's records, and I'm really happy. But, you know, we have to concentrate on the next game now, and maybe this summer you look back on it and, you know, think it's kind of nice.
What we're going to do is show one of your goals here. I would like you to give me a little description of it, first in English and then in Swedish. Okay, here we go. What's happening?
Yeah, this is my last goal. I just took it to the outside. I had kind of a bad angle, but, you know, I still took a shot at it, and it went in between his legs.
Now, how do you say he scores in Swedish?
100 mål.
Okay. Now, the team is leading the series 2-1. The Capitals' goaltending is having problems, but on the other hand, the Devils playing without Kirk Muller tonight. We don't know when he's going to be back. What do you think is going to be for the next game? Do you think possibly your coach, Jim Schoenfeld, will change goalies and give the big guy, Sean Burke, a rest?
I don't know, you know. I guess you have to ask Sean about it, but, you know, well, I don't know.
How do you feel about Washington's goaltending? You think they have something to worry about?
It looked a little bit shaky tonight, but, you know, it might be just for tonight.
Well, congratulations, breaking Wayne Gretzky's record.
Thanks, Dan.
Patrick Sundstrom, Jiggs.
What a performance, Dan, and no doubt he'll be included in our Budweiser play of the game. Peter, let's take a look at it.
Well, this was an isolation shot on Sundstrom. The puck goes back to Danico. Danico will get it across to Sonny. And as he breaks in again, watch his hands in the backhand shot that he takes here. He moves them so close together, and he gets such power on his shot. Most players reach down before they take the backhand. You see how he brings them together and throws it through Malarchuk's legs. This is one of the great things about watching a game like that, to say I was there the night that Sundstrom got the 8 points, and it was a terrific game of hockey. I mean, the points say it all. The all-time record for most points ever scored in a playoff game. Nothing else has to be said.
Yeah, you can throw out the over 200 minutes in penalties. 32-31 shots on goal. Washington with 32. The Devils with 31. Mark Johnson has 4 goals. Loisel has 2. Carlson has 1. And Patrick Sundstrom with 3 goals and 5 assists. And that's your story from the Meadowlands, where the Devils have won Game 3 of this best-of-7 series and taken a 2-1 lead. They'll be back here on Sunday night. Once again, your final score, the New Jersey Devils 10, the Washington Capitals 4. Remember, tomorrow at 7:30, the Yankees collide with George Bell and the Toronto Blue Jays. Then Sunday at 7:30, the Devils and the Capitals. It'll be Game 4 of the Patrick Division Finals, and we'll have it for you. Coming up next, it's Lee Zeidman with the latest on the New York sports scene on New York Sports Nightly. I'm Jakes McDonald in for Gary Thorne. On behalf of Peter McNabb and Stan Fischler, we thank you for watching. Say so long until Sunday. Thanks for watching Devils playoff action on Sports Channel, the official channel of the New York Fans.
New Jersey Devils Stanley Cup Hockey has been brought to you by Bud Light. Everything else is just a light. By your New York, New Jersey GMC truck dealers. Real men, real trucks. And by New Jersey Bell Yellow Pages, the one that works.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome to New York Sports Nightly. I'm Lee Zeidman. Sports Channel's thoroughbred expert Harvey Pack is standing by with an in-depth preview of Saturday's Wood Memorial at the Big A. We'll get to Harvey after we run down the playoff news. Stan Fischler also standing by at the Meadowlands for more on tonight's game. We'll get to him in a moment. Montreal and Boston are following a similar script in the Adams division to what the Caps and Devils are in the Patrick. The Canadians won the opener, but Boston, which has not defeated the Habs in the playoffs in 45 years, has rolled off back-to-back victories. To Boston we go. First period, no score. Boston's Mo LeMay drives along the left side, blasts the slap shot past Roy. It's 1-0 Boston. In the second period now, watch Montreal's goaltender, Patrick Roy, some clutch play. The puck loose in front. Boston's Steve Kasper tries to tip it in, but can't do it. Roy grabs the puck out of thin air. Watch the replay. Roy is flat on the ice and makes a backhand grab with the glove. What a save. That kept Montreal in the game. It was still 1-0 in the second period when Rick Middleton breaks in shorthanded. The save by Roy, but Sweeney there to finish the job made it 2-0. And in the third period, Bruins look for the shutout. They're slamming the door. Keith Crowder feeding Gord Kluzak in front. He tips it in to make it 3-0 Boston. They don't get the shutout, but they get a 3-1 win. The Bruins now lead the series 2-1. Sweeney got his 4th goal of the playoffs and also an assist tonight. An impressive performance by that Bruins squad. Now, Game 3 is history. Let's go back to the Meadowlands. Stan Fischler standing by. And Stan, I am amazed at what the Devils accomplished tonight. The Washington Capitals, one of the top defensive clubs in the league. And here the Devils go out and score 10.
Well, Lee, it was amazing in a lot of ways. First of all, it is the first 10-goal game in the history of the Devils franchise. Why is it amazing, Lee? I'll tell you why. In the first period, I thought the Devils actually were flat. I did not think they played all that well. They got a couple of goals, and then they kept building on it. They really took the best shots that Washington had. Now, we thought that the Caps would not be playing a goon game tonight, and I'll tell you why. I spoke to Terry Murray, the assistant coach, this afternoon. He said it's going to be a straightforward hockey game. They did not dress Ed Kastelek, the goon who started trouble in the second game in Washington, but they had Lou Franceschetti out there, and they had Greg Adams, and those guys were headhunting all night. And I think the Devils just had no choice but to fight fire with fire. They did very well. I'd say that Sean Burke did not play one of his better games, but he was good when they had to. The most important thing in this game was twice the Devils were reeling. Washington came back. They pulled within a goal twice, and twice the Devils just said, hey, stop, please. And they said, we'll take the game away. And they just went into high gear, and bang, what do we have? An amazing win.
2 surprises in my eyes. One, that Malarchuk, who was the goalie both of us thought should have been in the nets for Washington, gets blown out. And I think the absence of Langway can't be underrated. I mean, he is gone, and that defense is like Swiss cheese.
Well, it certainly cannot be underrated, but you have to remember a couple of things. This is a war of attrition, and what we saw tonight was Captain Kirk Muller of the Devils leaving the game. I checked with Dr. Barry Fisher just before we went on the air now, and I asked him when he might be back. He said it's a bad bruise, and he would not give me any indication because I don't think they know right now. They want to reevaluate Kirk Muller tomorrow. But without Muller, it means that David Maley is going to have to do a lot more work. There's going to be more compensation. Now, tonight you saw the depth of the Devils. Anders Carlson came up with a big goal. He went limping off the ice. Then, of course, Mark Johnson getting 4 and Patrick Sundstrom getting 3. And we haven't seen John McClain connect the way he did against the Islanders. So maybe in Game 4 on Sunday night, John McClain will be the next secret weapon in this series. But let's not forget, Washington is a very strong, a very proud team. We know they came back against the Flyers. It's not going to be a pushover. The two big questions are who will be in goal for Washington, and maybe, just maybe, Jim Schoenfeld will want to give Sean Burke a rest and go with Bob Sauvé on Sunday.
Okay, can't wait for Sunday. That's when we'll see you again when Sports Channel continues coverage of this Patrick Division Final. Game 4, face-off between the Capitals and Devils, live exclusively from the Meadowlands, Sunday night at 7:30. Don't miss it here on Sports Channel. On to the NBA. New York Knicks took the floor in Milwaukee, knowing that a win would clinch a spot in the playoffs. But this game started 15 minutes late because the referee's car broke down, and the vibes were kind of funny. Third quarter, Pat Cummings having a big game for the Knicks. Trent Tucker's shot no good, but Cummings grabs the rebound, puts it in. That cuts a Bucks lead to 9. It was 73-64. Mark Jackson, who was shut down in the first half, gets his first field goal of the game, and it's a beauty. He's fouled, cutting the Bucks lead to 4. As the quarter winds down, the Bucks pour it on. Watch Jay Humphries pass to Paul Pressey for the open J. It was 90-81 Bucks in that third quarter. It's 107-101 late in the fourth quarter. Milwaukee nursing a 6-point victory. It looks as if the Knicks season will go to Sunday when they face the Indiana Pacers in Indiana. Speaking of the Pacers, they're on the floor tonight. The Pacers get a win, 103-98, a shocker really, over the Detroit Pistons. Playing in Detroit, the Pacers come up with a rare road win. Person with 17, Dumars had 19. Take a look at the Eastern Conference playoff race. The Pacers are now a half a game up on the Knicks, a full game up on Washington, and the Philadelphia 76ers are basically in there for the most part. So remember, Sunday, the Knicks and the Pacers will collide. The last game of the season, the winner is going to get in the playoffs, and the loser is going to have to cry and wonder what his future is. Boston went to Atlanta missing three key starters tonight. Larry Bird, Dennis Johnson, and Robert Parrish did not travel with the team due to injuries, but Parrish and DJ felt well enough this morning to catch a flight and join the team. They arrived, though, late. They got on the floor 8 minutes into the first quarter. Let's go to the Omni. Hawks flying high tonight. Antoine Carr finds a wide-open Cliff Levingston under the boards. He goes up, slams it through. It was Hawks by 14. Later in the game, Carr teams up this time with Kevin Willis. Willis goes up with the jam. 93-75, Atlanta is cruising, and the fans are loving it. Hawks move on the break. Doc Rivers and Dominique Wilkins use the give and go before Rivers stuffs it home. And yes, what Atlanta Hawk highlight would be complete without Dominique jamming one? The human highlight film on the follow. Pretty play. 133-106. Wilkins with 35 points. Ainge tried to carry the birdless Celtics tonight, but to no avail. It is a big blowout for the Hawks down Atlanta way. Elsewhere, Cleveland and Chicago, 107-103. The Cavs beat the Bulls tonight. Oakley had 26 points and 35 rebounds. No, that's not a misprint, but doesn't it look like one? Mark Price had 26. San Antonio and Dallas, 127-96. The Mavs behind Mark Aguirre's 26 points with a win. The LA Lakers playing Phoenix. They're in the second quarter. Lakers lead. Denver and Portland in the second quarter as well. Portland with a comfortable lead on Denver. Utah and Seattle. It's an 8-point lead for the Sonics in the second. Sacramento and Golden State are just underway. New Jersey Nets close out their campaign tomorrow night here on Sports Channel. They'll try to finish on a positive note with a win over Milwaukee. The prospect of ending the season with 16 straight defeats is frankly frightening. Regardless of the outcome, the Nets are destined to close out the season with the worst record in franchise history. But this final game might be interesting to watch. We'll have it on Sports Channel Plus tomorrow, 7:30. Coming up next, the Major League Report. Yankees played at home, a great game with the Blue Jays, while the Mets on the road in St. Louis, a game we've got on Sports Channel Plus. Check it out.
New York Sports Nightly is being brought to you by Budweiser, Beechwood aged for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you.
Hi, I'm Jim Martindale, and I'd like to introduce you to the Garden Weasel. It's a 5-in-1 tool that makes gardening fun and easy. The Garden Weasel's 3 rotary blades mesh with a scissor action, breaking up the topsoil. They uproot young weeds before they get a start and mixes the leaves and weeds into the soil, and that's a mulch, and that's beneficial to your garden. The Weasel cultivates to a uniform 2-inch depth, protecting your plant's roots. Remove the center blade for cultivating around seedling rows and young bedding plants and vegetables. Use 1 blade for those hard-to-reach areas. Insert the short handle, and the Weasel is perfect for plant boxes and greenhouses. The Garden Weasel is made of a rust-free alloy that's virtually self-cleaning. Simply hose it off and allow it to dry. If you have a friend who's into gardening like I am, the Garden Weasel makes a perfect gift. Look for this display.
The Garden Weasel is available at Pathmark, Rickles, Jamesway, Genovese, Pergament, Quick Check, U.S. General, and participating Century Hardware. Makes a great gift.
These people are resting up for tomorrow, because tomorrow isn't just Saturday. It's Channel Day. The day when the things you need to fix problems like these are at savings like this. Like Ortho Weed Be Gone, just $3.98 after a $2 rebate. And Quickcrete Vinyl Concrete Patch is only $3.99. Remember, tomorrow isn't just Saturday. It's Channel Day. Shouldn't you be in bed too?
Over 1 million Sports Channel subscribers can't be wrong. When it comes to live games of the teams you care about, you've made the right choice. Sports Channel, with year-round coverage of the Mets, Yankees, Islanders, Nets, and Devils, all wrapped by New York Sports Nightly, the only complete half hour of local sports news. With a major New York area sporting event virtually every night of the year, over 1 million subscribers agree the name of the game is Sports Channel.
Mets went to St. Louis, where the best arms on the Cardinals staff are on the disabled list. So the last thing they figured on was a pitching duel, but that is exactly what we got on Sports Channel Plus tonight. Game just ended. Ron Darling on the mound for the Mets. Bottom of the first, Cards Vince Coleman on base. Darling wheels, throws to Kevin Elster. The pick off Coleman. It works. Darling helps himself out of a jam beautifully. Mets get on board first. Top of the second, Kevin McReynolds bloops a base hit to center. Darryl Strawberry will score. Cardinals pitcher Jose De Leon cuts off the throw as they get McReynolds hung up between first and second. Tommy Herr chases Big Mac down and nails him 1-0 New York. Strange incident in the second inning. Umpire Frank Pooley complaining of leg cramps. The Cardinals trainer checking his nose for some reason. Then they check Cardinals catcher Tony Pena stealing a ball from an injured umpire is kind of strange. The ump has a torn muscle in his calf. Check out Keith Hernandez. He fouls this pitch off the plate. I wonder if Keith was singing soprano after that. Cards playing superb defense tonight. Jose Oquendo robs Hojo off a base hit. Shoestring catch. What a great effort that was. On to the top of the fifth. Ozzie Smith puts his wizardry to work, nabs the Tim Tuffle grounder. They just get Tuffle at first. That ends an inning and saves a sure run. But just when you think the Cardinals are going to trip sooner or later, Ron Darling had the Cards baffled all night. Here he gets Jose De Leon looking to end the 7th inning. Finally, in the top of the 9th, Mets put the finishing touch on. Hojo, who's been in a slump, drives the ball deep to right field. It is a 3-run homer. Put the Mets up 4-0, and yes, they take Hojo's bat. The man who started the controversy last year wants to check it out again. Whitey Herzog burned by the bat of Howard Johnson and the fine pitching of Ron Darling tonight. Incidentally, the Cards made a trade this evening that deals with a man who was on the field tonight. More on that in a moment. Mets return to Sports Channel Sunday afternoon at 2:15 on Sports Channel Plus. The finale in this 3-game series at Busch Stadium. Join Ralph Kiner, Tim McCarver, and Fran Healy. Mets baseball, Sports Channel Plus, not available in all areas. Pittsburgh remains atop the National League East standings. The Bucks beat the Cubs this evening. Pirates pounded them, in fact, 8-4.